Welcome back to Attorneys on Call. We are talking about workers' compensation claims. So, how do you file a claim? When do you file a claim? What do you do? Ben,
Right.
How do you get started?
Well, first thing that's going to happen is you get hurt at work. From that point, you've got 30 days to tell your employer in writing that you got hurt. And that writing can be on a form. A lot of big companies have forms.
Okay.
A lot of big companies have your HR handbook's going to show you your form. Or it could be a text message or a written piece of paper. As you got to do
Email?
that. Email. Anything, you got to let them know.
Okay.
That can be a challenge sometimes because sometimes you get hurt and you think, oh, it's going to, maybe my back will get better. So,
Right.
but just it needs to be reported. The next thing that's going to happen is they're going to open a claim for you with the insurance company.
Okay.
You're often going to be sent to you're going to be hurt, so you're going to be at a doctor's office, either an emergency room. Sometimes your employer at the job site is going to say, go to this urgent care or go to this Concentra, one of their kind of industrial type facilities. They'll probably drug test you there, treat you, and then you may or may not get referred to a specialist depending on the nature of your injuries.
Okay.
Now, if you're out of work for 7 days in a row, then they got to start paying you your out of work checks. And it's not going to be the same rate that you were being paid before. That's one of the problems. It's less. It's 2/3 of your average of your wages for a week from the last year.
So whether you're hourly or salary, it doesn't
matter.
2/3 of that.
Yeah, and now what it's technically supposed to be is about what your take-home pay is, but sometimes that doesn't work out, and people get behind. Now they're also going to provide for your medical care, and depending on how serious your injury is, they may assign a nurse that they pay for to go with you to your medical appointments and talk to your doctors.
Interesting.
Yeah, that can seem a little invasive. Just know that you always have a right to have a private exam.
Okay.
And there's something they don't tell you. But you're going to have this you're going to be in this moment where you're treating. This is kind of along the lines of everything's going all right. You haven't needed to hire me yet, but everything's going like it's supposed to. You're getting your checks. You're getting your treatment. If you're having to drive more than 20 miles, you're getting mileage. At some point, the doctor may release you to light duty or may release you to return to work, and that has all sorts of implications. But if you can't return to work, the case moves along to the point where it's going to have to conclude one way or the other. If people are hurt and they're able to go back to their same job, let's say they broke their arm, it's healed, and they're able to go back to their job, then the system's pretty much worked as it's supposed to, being that they paid to fix their arm while they're out of the work.
Okay.
They paid for their wages while they're out. Any out-of-pocket prescription costs they were paid for, and they go back to the job. And the case is somewhat over unless the doctor gave them a percentage disability. The doctor may say, you know what, you got a 10% disability to your arm. They go back to work. They get paid on that, what's called a rating. It's based on a formula.
Interesting.
And that's a lot of the myth and legends around workers' comp is they'll say, I heard every body part has a number and everything is a percentage. Yes, but usually that matters only if they're going back to the same job.
Okay, interesting.
Some folks settle completely.
Okay.
And that's the other option. So that's a very abbreviated timeline for a
Right.
workers' comp case.
Of course, there's a lot of information on the website, whitleylawfirm.com.
Absolutely.
We in the last segment I mentioned hidden claims. Matthew, give us an example. I understand there's 3 hidden claims to a workers' comp claim.
Yeah, I think there's 3 main ones. One of the biggest ones that I see maybe every week, sometimes every day, is they're not paying you enough for what's called your TTD check that Ben was talking about, the workers' comp check that you get while you're out of work. And it's 2/3 of your average weekly wage. That's what it's supposed to be. But people are always saying, I make more money than that. Wait a second. This is less than 2/3 of my average weekly wage. And sometimes you don't even know it. And one of the things that we do in almost every case is request what's called a Form 22. By law, if you request that from the lawyer or your employer or the insurance company, they have to give it to you within 30 days. And you're going to be able to see on that form how much they are claiming you make. And you can compare that with your own records, and we do that. And something that we have found is they're underpaying a lot of people. And when we find that out, we highlight it. We say, if you don't pay this person, not only going forward the amount that they're owed,
Retroactive.
retroactively from after 7 days after they were hurt. It could be 2 years they were underpaid. And if you do the math, Drew, that can really add up, and that can be a large chunk of change. You got hurt, you're entitled to that money. It can be, and I don't mean to overstate it, it can be life-changing.
Is that pretty common where you see this underpayment?
It's common, and what's concerning a little bit is it's becoming more common. It's becoming more common, and I think these insurance companies are thinking maybe people just won't catch it.
Right, because if it's off by, let's just say it's off by $5.
$5 or something.
You may not notice that, but that number is so important in workers' comp cases, that TTD number, because that's how you determine settlement value. So even when it's off, lower, it could affect the value of your settlement.
Okay.
So that's a good one.
What are some other hidden claims?
Well, mileage. I mentioned that. A lot of people
Car
don't-
mileage.
Car mileage. If you or your loved one is having to drive more than 20 miles for your doctor's appointments, you can get paid the mileage rate by the insurance company, and they don't usually offer that up. The other one that's a little tricky is, you mentioned the 7 days. There's a 7-day waiting period. So you get hurt at work, you have to wait 7 days before those checks cut in. Well, that's a week worth of work that you've missed.
Yeah.
After 30 days, this is what they won't tell you. After 30 days, you can ask for that week to be paid, but you have to be out of work for 30 days.
Okay.
It's another hidden claim that the insurance company will not volunteer to tell you.
I don't want to guess what insurance companies are thinking here, but why aren't they telling people this?
Well, an insurance company, they take premiums, they invest the money, and they make money, and they hope not to pay out claims. I mean, that's the kind of the business model.
Right.
But there are plenty of good insurance companies out there. And you know what? We don't know them. We don't usually run into them because their clients aren't the ones calling us if they're all doing the right thing.
Yeah.
We get involved when the insurance companies don't do the right thing or someone runs out of options and doesn't know what to do and wants them out of their life.
Matthew, somebody watching right now that maybe in this situation where they were recently injured, they told their employer within 30 days in writing that they got hurt on the job, but they're having problems. How do they reach out to you, and what happens next?
Well, you call us, you go to our website. We have folks that will talk to you 24/7. You can talk to me, you can talk to Ben. It's free. Let us just tell you if we think we can help. If we can't help you, we're just going to tell you that. We'll give you some advice. We'll tell you what we think you should do.
Right.
We're going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So please just call us. It's free. It will take 5 or 10 minutes to talk to us.
Ben, what do you see in your experience? What are some apprehensions or some misconceptions that people have?
So one of the biggest misconceptions is, a lot of people have great relationships with their boss or their employers, and they get hurt at work and they worry. They are concerned and anxious that they don't want to ruin that relationship. Sometimes if it's a smaller company, they're worried the money is going to come out of their boss's pocket. That's a huge apprehension.
Okay.
Probably the main one that I hear about. When people tell me that, I will tell them back. Once that injury has happened, there's nothing you can do to change what's going to happen to the rates. This is not coming out of your boss's pocket. It's insurance company money, and that's what those insurance companies are there for. So there are certainly things to think about in answering that, but that's typically the best way we usually respond.
So people think that they're maybe jeopardizing their future job.
Or they worry they're going to get fired. They just are immediately anxious. It is an immediate anxiety. There is a law that's out there that protects people that they can't be retaliated for filing a workers' comp claim. You cannot be fired for filing a workers' comp claim. You cannot be demoted for filing a workers' comp claim. And if you think you have been, that's also a claim that we can help you with.
So really, the smart thing to do is, if you've been injured on the job, in writing within 30 days, you got to let your boss know.
Right.
That's the first step. And then hoping that everything goes along the way it should. But if it doesn't, call the Whitley Law Firm.
Call the Whitley Law Firm. Get a free consultation. It's not going to cost you anything. Find out exactly what we can do. And like Matthew said, we may be able to tell you what to do without us.
Right.
And I don't care that we're not getting paid, because it's the right thing to do.
Right. And thank you for joining us for this edition of Attorneys on Call. We've been talking about workers' compensation claims. Hope you don't have to go through that, but if you do, Whitley Law Firm is the place to go. The 800 number on your screen or whitleylawfirm.com. Have a wonderful day, everybody. We'll see you next time right here.